Good evening and welcome to Match of the Day live from Ewood Park, the home of Blackburn Rovers, for their 5th round FA Cup tie against Manchester United. There's a capacity crowd here in spite of below zero temperatures. The pitch is hard on top but not slippery, which will favour the brave but not help those who enjoy predicting a result. It was on the corresponding Friday just a year ago that Blackburn, having played extremely well, were knocked out of the FA Cup by Southampton, and this David Armstrong goal.
And Moran threatening once again on the break. A good ball by Mick Mills. 3 in support for Southampton if he can look round. They're all a long way away though. He has to go up to the line. And Armstrong!
One goal deciding that game, and I can't see it being anything else but close this evening. Rovers lead the Cannon League 2nd Division and have been beaten only once in their last 16 matches. And Manchester United could still win the First Division Championship, but on recent history, if they survive tonight, are much more likely to win the Cup. But I should add, United have never won in the Cup at Ewood Park. With me tonight, Trevor Brooking. Welcome, Trevor.
Thank you.
Now, tell me why it is that Manchester United seem to be bridesmaids and not quite brides these days.
I think Ron Atkinson would like to know that. Possibly, I think you've got to look at their away form. I mean, they've got a difficult cup match tonight, and I think in the league, their away form has been very disappointing. Also, I mean, I saw their lads at the hotel earlier this afternoon, and you look at their squad, they've got centre-back position, you've got Gordon McQueen, Mickey Duxbury in the back 4, you've got Brian Robson and Arnold Murin, who aren't playing tonight as well. Up front, Frank Stapleton and Alan Brazil. And I think the biggest problem is such a strong squad, those 6 lads not even playing, and it's a case of getting the right blend, really, and that, I think, has been one of the biggest problems he's had.
You think he might be spoilt for choice? Too many good players?
Well, I think, you know, those lads really would play in most First Division sides in the country these days, and naturally it's a problem, I think, when you get those type of lads out of the team to keep everyone happy. I'm sure they'd all like to be playing in a cup game this evening, but there's a lot of disappointed lads, and really I think that could be one of the problems, and also how to get the right blend out of so many players.
What about Blackburn Rovers?
Well, I think the last couple of years, you think they've tended to sort of be the strength at the back. They've got a very experienced back 4 and goalkeeper. I pointed this out, Bobby Saxton, the manager, and he mentioned that actually in the league this season, they've scored in every league game. So I think if they're going to do that tonight, possibly the 2 lads up front, Quinn and Thompson, I think they're going to have to get the supply from Ian Miller on the right or Noel Brotherston on the left, the 2 wide lads. So a lot could depend on them this evening.
They'll be very popular with us if they score tonight in this particular match live. Anyway, let's go over now and join Barry Davis, the match commentator.
And the fact that Kevin Moran leads out Manchester United will tell you immediately that he has been past fit. Plenty of support for United. They've all gone to the right, the Darwin end of this famous old ground. As usual, youthful support too. And we're looking at one of the younger players, Graham Hogg, who's 20. Here's a man who's 33, Derek Fazackerley, leading out Blackburn Rovers. Tremendous applause for them, and this is the Blackburn lineup. It's a team with a remarkable record of longevity in football terms. 8 of those 12 total over 2,000 appearances between them, with Fazackerley tonight playing his 602nd game. In contrast, Simon Barber is the youngest there at only 20. He made his debut back in October '83. Manchester United prefer Gary Bailey in goal. He gets back in place of Steve Pears. He's got the 2 that he wanted in the middle of the defence, although, of course, there is no Brian Robson, for whom Paul McGrath continues to deputise.
Well, in the absence of that prolific scorer Simon Garner, Rovers are well blessed in still being able to field 2 goal-getters. Belfast-born Jimmy Quinn has more than filled the breach, and the £32,000 Rovers paid Swindon for him looks to be cheap so far. He scored 5 goals in the last 4 matches, including the 2 that knocked out Portsmouth and the 1 that put paid to Oxford United in the last round. But their leading scorer is Chris Thompson with 14 goals, former England youth international. Chris has more than fulfilled his promise since arriving from Bolton in 1983, and the proof's there that Simon Garner is kept as substitute for tonight's game. Well, for United, it's Remy Moses who's interesting me at the moment. His qualities have not always been appreciated by the United fans, but Ron Atkinson's never hidden his total admiration for his effervescent influence on those around him. And in the absence of the injured Brian Robson, Remy has had greater opportunities to stamp himself on the game in the midfield jungle. But among the millions of pounds, if I had to choose United's most valuable player, it would be this young man, Mark Hughes. Discounting penalties, he is United's leading scorer with 16 goals, but has other abilities too, not the least to spot and make chances for other players with his deft touches. At 21, I think he's the next Ian Rush, and one day may fetch bids from Italy of billions of lira. But that won't worry Blackburn Rovers this evening.
I think it's fair to say, Jimmy, that not too much has been worrying Blackburn Rovers of late on this ground. They've only lost twice here in the last couple of seasons. And Ron Atkinson on the right there with his number 2, Mick Brown, knows that his team have a battle on their hands this evening. Although, talking to Bobby Saxton the other day, he feels that Blackburn, in fact, are not playing as well as they were earlier in the season. Looking at the pitch, it's really quite remarkable. It's extremely flat, and the players all had a try before they came out. They were testing boots, trying flats, short studs, rubbers, and in the end most are wearing either the flats or the rubbers. But no doubt that it's playable. It's rather curious to reflect that Blackburn Rovers were winning the FA Cup even before Manchester United became Manchester United, in the days when they were Newton Heath, and indeed in the days when these two sides first met in the FA Cup competition. Well, that's what they feel about the man who's taken over from Simon Garner. Scored 9 times in total. 1 or 2 nice banners, and well, they haven't had to come too far from Chorley. Rovers won't fail on the Wembley Trail. Well, these two sides met in 1928 when Rovers won and went on to win the Cup for the last time. They've won it 6 times, Manchester United have won it 5 times. 1875, 1975, the centenary of Blackburn. Kevin Moran on the right, Derek Kozakali on the left, and a proud young man between them, Robert Carson, who goes to St Edward's School in Darwood. So they also used to once have a football league side. And his big moment is over, but I'm sure he'll remember it for many a day. Courtney, one of the most experienced FIFA referees, a man likely to take part in the World Cup in Mexico next year, talking to another man who hopes to cross Northern Whiteside and hopes to be there with Northern Ireland. Terry Gano played at Wembley in the Milk Cup final for Southampton against Nottingham Forest. Olsen. Nobody there. Oh, and what a slip! Oh, what a disaster! Second the scorer, but poor Rashford. Oh dear, there was absolutely no danger from the initial header from Whiteside. Somehow Rashford lost his position, lost his footing, and Strachan really took full advantage. Played through by Olsen. Now look at this. There's nobody anywhere near the defender. He's got all the time in the world, and he just stood on the ball. And Strachan, it was a beautiful little flick with his right foot. 18th goal of the season for him, and United have the lead in the 7th minute. McGrath saw it early. Good pace, good control. Or was it? Yes, it was. It was bouncing horribly for him. And Ron Atkinson on his feet on the touchline as he knows his side have gone through. And I think the best thing I can say about Paul McGrath in this instant was really that he did as well as Brian Robson would have done. 2 minutes remaining. And United are there, and doesn't he know it? They've had a few alarms during this second half. They've survived them, and Blackburn now know that they're out. Looks at the one on the wrist, and the whistle goes, and an expression of delight from the Manchester United manager as his team go through into the 6th round, having won by 2 goals to 0 in spite of a penalty miss by Gordon Strachan. Paul McGrath wrapping the whole thing up with an individual goal worthy of the England captain in whose stead he's been playing. Final score, in spite of the brave efforts of Blackburn during the 2nd period: Blackburn Rovers 0, Manchester United, to the delight of their supporters to our right, 2.
Come on, City! With Man City!
Look at that excitement. It turned into quite a night at the end of the day, too.
Yeah, it's exciting. I thought Blackburn might edge back into it, but United were always dangerous, weren't they, breaking away, and then sealed it late on there, really.
And Strachan made his mark at the start and right the way through the game, really.
That's right. I think I've seen him a few times this season, but that's the best game I've seen him play for United. He controlled it, laid it off well. Apart from then, he had that great run, the goal. Apart from the penalty miss, which he
well, let's try and have a look
about, though.
Some people may not have seen that excitement. Let's try and have a look now at Strachan's performance through the evening. And this was the penalty incident here. Whoops-a-daisy. Strachan not involved in that, of course. But on the other hand, he now steps up to take the penalty. It's a side footer, and I wonder whether television, because it shows so many penalty takers taking penalties, can be held responsible for some of the misses, but you can argue that one out. And of course, here was perhaps the moment of the game for me. A lovely run, full of confidence to take it. Now you see how he accelerates with the ball away from the opponents there. It's a 1-against-1 with only the keeper to beat. We've seen a few of these missed recently, and we see another one there where the goalkeeper comes out on top. And of course, lastly, the goal that he scored, which you admired as a moment of skill, which really changed the pattern of the whole game, Trev.
That's right. It gave the impetus really to United for the rest of the game. Just treads on it there, but Gordon see the keeper off, clips it beautifully outside of his right foot, and then he goes on his run of honour there. But disappointment for Mickey Rathbone, really, because he'll be reliving that for the rest of the weekend.
Well, we'll forgive him, of course, because it was a fine match, but it was Gordon Strachan and Manchester United's evening. Good night from Ewood Park, Blackburn.